What's up, everybody? Big Hurt 916 getting down with Fresh Out. You know how we do it over here. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share the channel. Also go to freshoutseries.com, pick you up some merch, and wash your ass. I'm here with my man Johnny Mitchell, the infamous. And man, besides being a major weed dealer, ex-felon, comedian, he has some hell of a stories, and we have a lot of similarities, so we're going to get into some Hollywood shit. Johnny, man, you know, what's going on with the whole Hollywood scene right now as a comedian trying to get your foot in the door and doing things, and what you see as far as this whole narrative and political thing that's happening with Dave Chappelle, for instance?
Yeah, well, I mean, forget that, right? Like, that's all marketing. Like, Dave Chappelle's like going after the trans community. Yeah, you could argue that was just like that outrage pushed his special to like the top of the charts. So I don't concern myself with that. I think what's wilder is like the way, like the writer's strike that's happening right now. So the Hollywood writers, the Writers Guild of America, the WGA, they're striking. So nothing's getting made right now in Hollywood. But it's funny because nobody gives a shit. Like the writers are like, AI's taking our jobs. They're going to be able to make movies without directors and writers, and they're going to be able to take actors, you know, and their holograms are going to be able to, you know, make an entire movie, right? And it's like, fuck them. Everybody's like, who gives a shit? You've been so woke. You've turned out nothing but garbage the last 15 years. You pander, you know, you completely shit on, you know, the majority of your consumers, which are, you know, middle Americans. Mm-hmm. Fuck them. So that's kind of how most people feel now. So there's a complete shift. Hollywood is a dying industry. It's been dying for a while, but like now it really is like a corpse on the side of the road with like a little bit of meat left on the bone, and that's about it. And guys like me, comedians, don't give a fuck. Like the internet is like it's eating Hollywood's lunch. So there is no. I'm not trying to get into Hollywood anymore. I'm online. You know what I mean? I just happen to live in LA.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, and see that it's been kind of like on life support for a while now, and you know, with the ability to make independent stuff now and do your own you know, movie or special outside of Hollywood, I see that, you know, no matter what your narrative is, people can, if they really want something, they can get to it. And you know, I've written some things and you know, seeing how, you know, now I heard even Richard Dreyfuss was talking about, like, you know, for the next academies, you got to have this gender inclusive, you got to have this, to qualify, you got to have this. And it's like, where's the artistic vision in that? I mean, you're going to alter something to placate to a demographic?
Exactly. So they're killing themselves. I don't even know if there's anything behind it. It seems like the business, the powers that be, are intentionally, like, you know, doing a harikari, fucking stabbing themselves and pushing the knife in deeper and deeper every year because they see they see the analytics. These are not stupid.
Oh no,
people.
Yeah, the numbers.
They see the numbers and people just turning. The Oscars sees every year ticking. You know, less and less and less and less and less people watch it. Of course, Chris Rock, you know, Will Smith slaps Chris Rock, right? But nobody cares. And so I don't know what it is. I mean, ultimately, like technology, it's technology that began the ruin of the business because everybody's just on their phone now watching short form stuff. So part of it's the attention span, but yeah, I mean, part of it is just the old Hollywood's refusal to adjust and refusal to like make any kind of content that has any kind of integrity. You know what I mean? So
what direction do you see it going as far as from an artistic point of view? Because, like, you know, people now are yearning to get that risque, you know, content. I mean, think about back in the day, Eddie Murphy, you know, with some of his skits, man. I mean, we were just talking about American History X.
Right.
You couldn't make a movie like American History X today, man.
Not
I mean, who would fund it? You know what I mean? So with you know, you look at some of the stuff, some of the funniest stuff, Richard Pryor, some of the stuff he would say, you know, and it's like, dude, it's like, where's the soul at? I mean, you're literally now biting your tongue, looking around, trying to dance around to not hurt somebody's feelings. comedy was all about hurting feelings, man. It didn't matter if you're black, Italian, Jewish, you know, you were a midget, you were fat. They would talk shit.
Yeah. Well, comedians are at least lucky because we can fund and make our own comedy specials now and put it on YouTube, put it on, you know, different platforms, clip it and put it on Instagram, right? You know, you can't. There's certain words that you just can't say even online, right? But you can at least make something that's, you know, true to yourself, and it gives guys like me who Netflix will never give a look to because it's just doesn't. I'm not in the demographic, right? Like even a black guy who's hilarious and edgy, they're not going to give love to, you know. So but you know, that's the saving grace for comedians is that we'll be the last people that AI replaces, right? So people still want to come out to a comedy club and get that live experience. But man, directors and writers and actors, people who rely on the system for jobs, I feel bad for them because that's going away, man. Like it's encyclopedia salesmen, it's coal miners, you know.
I remember encyclopedia. Now, do you still think that there's that passage where, you know, if you let this guy
blow
do this? I mean, Richard Pryor, man, I remember he said, I mean, there was a couple comedians, you know, he said, hey, man, you know, you show up over this guy's house, and if you let this go with this, you know, next thing you know, you're on a Johnny Carson show. or if you don't do it, you know, you don't get in.
Well, didn't Richard Pryor have an affair with Marlon Brando?
Yeah, and, you know, the guy who was supposed to be the producer of the Johnny Carson show, you know, he actually appeared on Johnny Carson 2 weeks later, and I forgot the comedian to ask him, like, dude, did you went in there? And he ask, he said, man, you think I didn't? You know, so he's like, dude, I'm trying to, you know, and he actually went through with that. But I know, you know, they say that there's certain things that go on, and, you know, and that's one of the things that they have over you. And people always ask, you know, like, is Hollywood really, because, you know, you see the women talking about Me Too, but dude, I think it's worse for the dudes because, you know, they want, you got to participate on some, either cheek bust or let cheek bust, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and who's gonna tell? You know, you guys get no sympathy. Men get no sympathy.
5 guys on a woman. Oh man, you got a train ran on you. But damn, you let a dude bust your cheeks.
Ah, damn. You better keep that under the hat.
Keep it on the low.
Nobody.
Exactly.
Stuff that down and enjoy your fame, buddy. No, I don't think that old gatekeeping of Hollywood. I think that's going away too. Like I said, because there's hardly any product left and any platforms left to gatekeep. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like there is no more Carson. There is no more late night that could just break a comedian, right? That could just break you. One appearance back in the day on Letterman or Carson, one appearance for 5 minutes for a comedian could, you know, make you a millionaire. Everybody in the country would know you because everybody watched the same thing. Yeah. Now it's like there is no more. It's not worth it to blow a guy, right? to get onto what, the Late Show with James Corden. Like, so what? So 50,000 people can watch you? You do more in one Instagram
You're like,
reel.
hey, why'd I let him do that to me?
Yeah. So what? So I can get 500 Instagram followers out of it? It's nothing. It's done. So that is the good thing. Yeah. It's a two-sided coin, right? Because it's a shame that, you know, the business doesn't make great films anymore and great television like it did, because it takes a big system to be able to put The Godfather out. Goodfellas. It takes a massive push. Yeah. But at the same time, these scumbags who run it don't have any more power.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely changed. I mean, I can recall, like, even in the mid-'90s when they used to have all these unregulated talent agencies off of La Brea and Hollywood, and you go in there and, you know, they have all these pictures on the wall, and dude, I remember, man, and this wasn't even, I worked in porn, this was worse than porn. You go in there and it's like, hey, you want this role? And next thing you know, you got some old pervert, and you got some girl in her butt naked, or got some dude in there posing, like, damn, I thought this was regular Hollywood.
Right,
you know, this shit is worse than, you know, the porn industry.
Right,
you know?
Exactly. So, yeah, because how can you, somebody's trying to get into porn, I mean, part of the job is blowing a guy to get the job. You know, that's expected. So nobody's, you know, taken away by that. It's really, it's way more sinister when it's this, like, this monster that portrays itself as, like, the liberal bastion of America, right? We're Hollywood. We're inclusive. We're, we're just. And the reality is just the opposite, right?
Do you think they're backtracking, trying to cover a lot of those tracks now? I mean, you remember, just recently, the Ron Jeremy, he had all those rape. Now he's got dementia.
Oh, now he's locked up though, man.
They said he couldn't stand trial, so he's basically been determined that he's incompetent, he's incapable.
Is that true,
dude? He's the charges there. He's been committed to a mental ward.
Wow. I mean,
look, he'll never stand trial, but he was a gatekeeper for a lot of.
Right. I mean, I don't know if he might have dementia. That motherfucker really looked bad. He would come around the comedy clubs like when I first got started, like 10 years ago, and he was already haggard and tore down. I mean, that life ruins you.
I've seen him a couple of times, and I've heard stories. And I mean, I can only imagine. I'm like, some of these girls will say stuff, and it's like, it was people knew, but everybody's like, oh, it's a hedgehog.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And I tell people, when they say different things, this is no different than like how, somebody was mentioning something about, I remember the Stormy Daniels thing. I said, well, dude, that industry is like a step away from like Hollywood. So. Porn, which is lowball, people, I got a talking role, but you're in porn. What are you talking about? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got really want to, you got Hollywood, and then you have politics.
Yeah.
So Hollywood plays the middle for politics, sports, and everything else because, hey man, you can hook me up with that porn star girl, bro. Mm-hmm. Come on now, Johnny, man, hook me. You know her, man, and then she, it's like you're like almost like a mini handler.
For sure. Yeah, it's all entertainment too. Let's not forget that politics is just like the entertainment business. It is the entertainment business. It's the PR business.
Yeah.
It's that's what that's what it's come to. It's pretty sad.
So when is the clubs now still open where you don't have to watch your stand-ups, or are people are you trying to censor that because you're afraid somebody's gonna record it and post it over?
No, I mean the comedy clubs are one of the last places where anything goes.
Okay.
I mean, you don't see a lot of people up there. People don't use the word, the F word, to refer to gay people anymore.
Okay.
No comedians do that. White comedians don't say the N word anymore. I'm okay with that. Times change. Times have always evolved, and what was appropriate or acceptable 20 years ago is not now, and that's always happened, right?
Yeah.
So the rule is, if it's funny, it wins. So we've heard a lot of this stuff already. So a lot of what was funny 20 years ago, even though that was like edgy at the time, it's just in bad taste now. But when it comes to the truth, because a laugh is the truth. Like when you get a whole comedy club full of people laughing at what you said, it doesn't matter if 2 people find it offensive. 250 people are laughing their ass off, so that joke wins. That's objective. That's not even subjective. That is objectively the truth, because everybody is involuntarily laughing at me doing a joke about a trans person. You know what I mean? So it could be offensive. I'm sure somebody can find anything offensive, right? Everybody can pick and choose to be offended at something, but the comedy club is the last place that's honest in show business, because if everybody laughs, then the job is done. Then the joke wins. Mm-hmm. So that's why haters hate comedians so much, because we do the most difficult thing in the artistic world, which is to make a room full of basically strangers laugh at thoughts you have, and that's why, and that's a very powerful thing.
No, I think you guys are the last line of defense, man, in artistic, creative, talent, because comedy, I mean, I think that the form of expression, laughter, just being able to make fun of somebody and just be entertained is a beautiful thing. And it's like, it doesn't matter what kind of mood you're in. It's like, they're, even if they're talking about you, I always try to sit somewhere, because they always pick, big man up in here.
Yeah.
They always get some type of joke, man. So I always try to sit somewhere where I can't be seen. But to me, it's funny. You know what I mean? It's like entertaining, so I don't trip. But for people to be that sensitive and that just soft skinned, to where, you hear something and you get all I mean, dude, what can you say? You know what I mean? It's like, damn, we live in a society where you can't laugh anymore. So I think you guys, are holding it down when it comes to that because, all the other movies now you see stuff and it's like, dude, this is. Like I go through Netflix, I'm like, some of this stuff is garbage.
Garbage, man. And the comedy's terrible.
Oh,
it's not even
horrible.
comedy. It's like, it's everybody's like, we can't say this. It's like, man, it really is pathetic, and that's why it's like, these writers are like crying poverty. They're crying about how they need better working conditions, which they may, but get a new job. I really don't have a lot of sympathy because, like, it's collective psychosis.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what the business of Hollywood, the entrenched, it's a wokeism and it's a religion, and and even if you're working in there are comedy writers that are really funny, but their hands are tied in writers' rooms, and they don't even dare say jokes anymore. Like when you're sitting around writing a script in the office of Netflix, you don't even dare pitch a thought that you might to get people to go, whoa, I don't know, because everybody's terrified for their fucking jobs.
Wow.
So yeah, it's it sucks because it's killed. I loved comedy movies growing up. I loved Jim Carrey. I loved In Living Color. I loved so many great comedy movies and TV shows, and now it's just all done.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, when I think about some of the shows, and then I look at how how the story arc is going, and then I'm like, damn, this guy was a gangster. When did he start wanting to bust this dude's cheeks? Well, how did this happen? Where did this come in? I'm like, who threw that in there?
Yeah.
So like they throw some weird twist in there. It's like, God, I mean, we know that shit happens, but like every show had to have, this some certain theme to make it a show now.
Right,
it's like,
right.
So,
yeah. You can still show violence. Netflix, you can show as many people getting killed on Narcos as you want. America's very weird like that. They don't like titties and they don't like jokes, but you can show as many people getting brutally killed on screen as you want, as many people doing drugs, shows like Euphoria, which was a great show, but it's high school kids fucking each other and snorting coke at 16. That's all fine. Hey, but jokes, we can't have that. We can't have anybody getting offended by a literal made-up thing, which is what a joke is. It means nothing.
It's funny you say that because we were talking with a network one time about our show. And the guy's like, oh man, it's, you rehabilitate yourself, blah 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 blah, bank robbery, gun, this and that. And then they said, but did you did porn? I said, yeah, years ago, 20. Oh, well that, they didn't like that part. I'm like, dude, I had a gun, pointed at Pete, did all this, and you're worried about porn 20 years ago?
Yeah.
That's what you're using to kind of not do the show?
Exactly.
So it's like, wow, it's like a weird dynamic in how what you get behind and then what you say you don't like. So I don't know. It's
Meanwhile, OnlyFans is like the biggest. OnlyFans is making more money than Netflix, Hulu,
oh my God,
HBO combined. When are you gonna start your own, man?
There you have it. Big Hurt 916, Johnny Mitchell, fresh out. You tired of smelling like stanky butt, funky armpits? Wash your ass. Go to FreshOutSeries.com and pick you up a bar of soap.